Sarah, your instructor for Introduction to Archaeology. I'm here with you today in my living room to talk a little bit about archaeology and how you can train yourself to think like an archaeologist. Observing and making inferences are two of the most important skills an archaeologist can have, because those skills are essential for finding evidence of past human activities and making educated guesses about what those markers mean about what people's lives were like in the past. So, let's take a second and thoroughly define observation and inference. We make inferences all the time. Here's an example. Let's say you are walking along a bike path and see a guy running past you. Do you immediately start running too? Probably not. First, you will probably observe the situation around you and ask yourself a series of questions. Why do you think he's running? Is it from a monster, or is he just exercising? You might guess that he's probably just exercising based on how calm he looks and the fact that there are other people running and some other people walking. So you're probably safe and don't need to run too. In this situation, you use observation and inference to assess the situation. So let's take a look and really define observation and inference. Observation is looking really closely at the details of an object or situation. Take a look at the image on the left. What can we observe from this image? We can see that the sky is very blue. There are a bunch of snack carts in the foreground and rides in the background. There is also a lot of people around too. Inference is making a guess based on what you see going on around you. Let's go back to our observations about the image. So, what can we infer from the blue sky? We might guess that it's a really nice day out. We can also ask ourselves why there might be snacks and rides in a place where a large amount of people are gathered. This question might lead us to draw the conclusion that the image might be of a carnival or fair. However, it is important to remember that we don't have all the pieces of information, so the inferences we make are only guesses that can be strengthened when new evidence is found. Okay, so now we'll know a little bit about observation inference, but how does it apply to archaeology? Let's take a second and talk about archaeology, which is defined as the study of materials that past people left behind. We might look at objects that people have modified and used to suit their needs, such as arrow and spearheads, broken bits of pottery, and bone tools. These objects are called artifacts. Archaeologists might also observe the unmovable remains of human occupation in an archaeological site. These remains are unmovable since they cannot be taken out of the ground without being destroyed completely. These remains are called features. Features appear as dark stains in the soil where something once was a long time ago. It's kind of like when you go to rearrange your furniture and the legs of the couch leave behind indents, like the ones you see on the picture. Instead, archaeologists see stains, and these stains can be post holes, fire pits, or the remains of house walls. So just to recap, the main pieces of evidence that archaeologists observe and draw their inferences from are artifacts and features. We can look at them, compare them to modern-day tools and objects, and from those observations and comparisons, make inferences about their use in the past. Much of the evidence archaeologists find in archaeological sites comes from features called middens. Middens are basically historic trash dumps. Yeah, trash dumps. Archaeologists are prehistoric garbage pickers. So, a prehistoric man's trash is an archaeologist's treasure. We can actually learn a great deal about people from the things that they throw away. think about the things you tend to throw away. We can probably learn about the kinds of foods you eat, what items you buy a lot of, what kind of lifestyle you lead, and sometimes we can even gather evidence of values and beliefs. Now, let's take a look at my midden and figure out what my junk says about me. We will first observe the items in the midden, looking at some key pieces. Then we will make some educated guesses or inferences about my life. All right, let's go. All right, so I've got my midden here, which is actually a shoebox. And let's take a look at this shoebox really quickly. So, take a look at the label there. So we can see that this once held a pair of shoes, sandals, size 11. And if I told you the average woman's shoe is about a size 9, what can you infer about my feet? You might guess that I have huge feet, and you would be right. You might even guess that I'm also tall, which is again true. I'm about 6 feet tall. All right, so I'm just gonna go ahead and dump the whole box. All right. Let's see what we've got here. Definitely got quite a bit of Ohio University stuff. Got my Ohio University card decal. Get some of this stuff out of the way so you can see everything I'm pulling out of here. We've got an Ohio Bobcats. Looks like a football game ticket from Ohio versus Marshall in 2011 at Payton Stadium. Got that. Got that out of the way. Oh, I've got a proud alumnus badge right here. And Ohio Men's Crew wristband. All right, so based on all this information that I've pulled out, what can we infer about where I spent time at undergrad? If you guessed Ohio University, you would be right. I graduated in the class of 2015. Let's see what else we got here. Got a Fall Out Boy CD case. Another album disc cover. Oh, and 2 more. Okay. And let's see what else can we scavenge. Oh, the Fall Out Boy button. All right. So, based on all this Fall Out Boy stuff, what do you think my favorite band is? Yup, it's Fall Out Boy. I've actually seen them in concert about 4 times. So even glancing at this little bit of junk that I have in front of me, you can tell a lot about me. So take a quick look at the rest of the stuff that we have in front. Take a second or two to come up with some other observations about me. I'll give you about 20 seconds. You almost ready? Let's go. So, some of you might have spied these. This gives you a clue of what instrument I played in the school band. These are bassoon reeds. You might have even guessed my occupation. I've got my trowel laying around here and my I dig archaeology button. You might have also guessed that I might have a dog. Left her bone in my junk drawer. I also have gone fishing before with my family. I actually go pretty often. Might even see that I volunteered at COSI for a semester. And I might have won a crew race back in the day. So, even from this little bit of junk that I had in my shoebox, you can tell a lot about me. So, now it's your turn. Today, you played the role of an archaeologist using the most important tools in an archaeologist's toolbox, the powers of observation and inference. You observed the objects in my midden, and based on those observations, came up with inferences about my life. Archaeologists practice those same skills when they look at the artifacts recovered from an archaeological site. They observe the items and make inferences about what people were doing with them and what those possible actions mean about what life was like in the past. But it's important to remember that observations are educated guesses and that they have the ability to change as new evidence is found. Now, it's your turn to be an archaeologist in your own home. Take a look at your junk drawers, boxes full of stuff, items displayed in your home, or even observe a simple penny. Imagine you are an archaeologist looking at these items 100 years from now. What would you be able to learn about yourself, the people you live with, or society based on the objects you observe? Make a list of the objects and the inferences you can make, and feel free to share these observations and inferences in the discussion board created especially for this activity. In the meantime, stay tuned for more of these videos and looking forward to talking to you soon. Thanks for joining me.